Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here and watching this presentation. I wish I could be there with you, but I had some issues and couldn't be with you. So, hello again. Today, I want to talk about a question our field hasn't fully answered yet. Can artificial intelligence and robotics, already proven in dental implant surgery, as you might know, be extended into something every dentist does every single day? Tooth preparation. Let's start where we actually are. Robotic-assisted systems already have a decade of surgical precedent in oral and maxillofacial surgery, guided implant placement, orthodontic navigation, bone graft positioning. These systems have been validated across both in vitro and in vivo studies for years. But tooth preparation, the most basic, most repeated procedure in prosthodontics, remains almost entirely manual. Most of the research that does exist on robotic tooth preparation is still confined to early in vitro settings. So there's a striking asymmetry here. Surgery is robotic, but preparation is not, and this makes us prosthodontists a bit jealous about that. At the same time, AI is reshaping nearly every other step of the dental workflow, diagnosis, treatment planning, even the surgical execution itself. So the question we asked when we started this review was simple. If AI and robotics can already carry a patient through diagnosis, planning, and surgery, why does the chain stop right before tooth preparation? That's the gap this talk is going to walk through, layer by layer. To answer that, we organized the evidence into three functional layers that any autonomous system would need: AI segmentation to understand anatomy, autonomous planning to decide what to do, robotic execution to actually do it. I'll take you through each layer with the most striking numbers we found in the literature. This was a work we did in our department as a review, a scoping review, because we needed to map the evidences to prepare our own robotic system. Layer 1. Can AI actually see the anatomy well enough to operate safely? The answer is increasingly yes. Dental Segmentator, a deep learning model published in 2024, achieved dye similarity coefficients of 92 to 94% across multiple tissue types on CBCT scans. For pulp boundary detection specifically, Tan and colleagues reported an average surface distance below 0.1 millimeters. In practical terms, that means an AI system can now draw a three-dimensional keep-out zone around the pulp chamber and neurovascular structures with sub-millimeter precision. Anatomical perception for crown preparation purpose is almost essentially solved. Layer 2 and 3 together, planning and execution in the context of robotic implant surgery, which turned out to be by far the most mature body of evidence we found. Autonomous robotic platforms are now achieving coronal deviations between 0.43 and 0.96 millimeters, and angular deviations between 0.85 and 1.62 degrees across large clinical series, not just in vitro models, but real patients in vivo works. And here's why this matters beyond implantology. These coronal accuracy figures come close to the marginal fit and taper tolerances that a crown preparation requires. In other words, the surgical robotics evidence base doubles as a feasibility proof for prosthodontics. Even though no surgical robots are used for preparation to this date, but we will check for the transferability. So we ask the next logical question directly. If implant robots are already this accurate, why not crowns? We lined up the numbers. Validated implant accuracy sits at 0.43 to 0.69 millimeters. The generally accepted tolerance threshold for crown preparation, I mean marginal fit and axial taper combined, is around 0.5 millimeters. Angular accuracy already meets the 2 to 6 degree taper requirement. Coronal accuracy approaches the below 0.5 millimeter marginal gap threshold, with the most accurate systems already meeting it. Our conclusion at this point in the review was the accuracy ceiling proven in implant surgery already clears the bar that crown preparation requires. Mechanical capability is not the bottleneck, fortunately. And this is where it gets exciting because somebody has already built it. Fang and colleagues published in 2026 the first fully automated robotic system for full crown preparation. In an in vitro model, it achieved 0.18 millimeters R root mean square error, matching the precision of an experienced clinician using conventional handpieces, while cutting preparation time by 40% compared to the conventional burr-based approach. This is the first published evidence that the execution layer, the actual cutting, can be automated end-to-end. But the most striking finding in this entire review, and the one I want you to remember, is this. Ciriello, sorry if I pronounced this wrong, and colleagues didn't stop at in vitro. In 2025, they reported the first 5 human patients ever to receive a tooth preparation performed by a semi-automated robotic system. The mean root mean squared deviation was 39.22 micrometers, with a precision way more safer than it is expected. The workflow integrated an AI-generated CAD model, no optical tracking thanks to a clamp attached to surrounding teeth, and prosthesis-driven robotic execution. The patients received their final crown the same day, with no adverse events reported, because the crown had already been produced before the preparation. And this is the revolution. And this is no longer a concept. It has already happened once in a human mouth, and not once, to be honest. It's been like more than, I guess, 5 patients. If we put all 3 layers side by side, here's what the evidence actually looks like today. Segmentation at 92 to 94% dice score, planning and execution at well under half a millimeter. Each layer individually is validated. What we don't yet have in a single commercial or even open research system is all 3 layers connected end to end. So our work is not that hard. We will just put these together. So what's actually stopping that connection? In our analysis, it comes down to one thing. Every layer we've shown handles planned, predictable geometry, a scan, a model, a path. None of them yet sense the tissue itself in real time while cutting. Enamel, dentin, and decayed tissue all have different hardness. A static plan, however accurate, cannot adapt on its own to what the bear actually encounters chairside. The missing piece is real-time force feedback tissue discrimination built into the robotic execution layer itself. So where does that leave us? The technologies required for autonomous crown preparation already exist, and each one is individually validated. Segmentation, planning, execution, and design. What's pending is the force feedback sensing that would let a robot adapt to tissue in real time. And it's a very, very precise mechanism. And what's promised once that gap closes is consistent, autonomous, same-day prosthetic rehabilitation, not as a far-off vision, but as the next very buildable step. Thank you for listening to me, and I wish I could be there with you. And if you have any questions, you can mail me, and we can talk about and discuss about this the topic. Thank you for listening to me. Goodbye, and have a nice congress.